More information comes to light, their actions look more devious. Now, the same week that the WHO said the virus wasn't contagious between humans, the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the sloppy lab believed to have leaked it, applied for a patent for the drug remdesivir. Now, this is an experimental drug that can assist in recovering from the virus. China will be able to profit from this patent and exert leverage internationally. The timing of the patent application in January is extremely suspicious. Also suspicious is that the Chinese Communist Party, in the beginning of the outbreak, banned residents of Wuhan from flying to the rest of China, but allowed them to fly all over the world, infecting hundreds of thousands of people and costing us trillions. Here's the president on all of that.
You said that China, it's possible they could have chosen not to stop the spread of the virus. Are you insinuating they intentionally let it spread?
Well, they could have done it, and I'm just saying, well, one of two things happened. They either didn't do it, and they couldn't do it from a competent standpoint, or they let it spread.
Have you seen anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I think that the World Health Organization should be ashamed of themselves because they're like the public relations agency for China.
So as we get up and dust ourselves off, how do we make China pay? And are the Chinese positioned to defeat the United States in a clash of the superpowers? Joining us now, geopolitical strategist Peter Zeihan. All right, so Peter, tell me something. You're obviously seeing this collision coming a mile away between the United States and China. This is going to define the next 100 years. There's going to be a new world order after this virus. And obviously China is acting very defensive because we know that they're responsible, either through sloppiness or we don't know. How does China try to take advantage of the situation? And are they even up to trying to replace America as the sole superpower?
Well, let me correct you on one point real quick. This is not a battle for the ages. This is not a battle of equals. This will not last a century. This will probably be over in 3 or 4 years. The only reason that China is a unified country with a significant economy is because the United States created the global order. And for various reasons, the United States is getting out of that business. China doesn't have the military capacity to protect their own trade routes, much less the global system. So this really is the end for them. And if that was not enough for you, remember the one-child policy? Well, 35 years after the one-child policy, they've run out of 30-year-olds because, that's how math works. China can't function without access to the global system, and if there's no global system, there's no China.
So you're predicting the beginning of the end for the Chinese rise. How do you see that actually happening?
Well, Chinese history is rich with dozens of examples of how it can all go to hell in a very short period of time. If I had to guess right now, with what we've seen in the last few weeks, the Chinese Politburo, the people at the top, are convinced that there is no way forward without the United States continuing to do what it's done for the last 70 years. Whether it's Trump or his successor, this really is the end of the global order. Americans left, right, and center are just tired of it, and China knows they can't survive without it. And if the Chinese government fully has accepted that that is something that they cannot duplicate or replicate, then they've got to prepare for a complete political lockdown. Because if they've got to choose between a China that is linked to various parts of the world but starts to fracture, or one that they can hold the pieces together and they just drop into a Maoist tyranny, that's not a debate in China. They're going to try to hold it together. So you tell these lies, try to blame everybody. They tried to blame the Italians for the virus at the height of the Italian epidemic, which is just ridiculous. They're not doing this because of us. They're trying to spark nationalist resentment in their own country in order to hold the center. It's not a great strategy, but it's honestly the best one they've got.
Wow, that's fascinating. So you're saying as Japan pulls manufacturing out of China, as the United States pulls out, as a lot of people want to hold China accountable for what happened, China is going to probably hunker down within itself, try to consolidate power domestically, and try to survive. The communist Chinese are trying to survive a kind of a crippling effect of the change in the geopolitical landscape, because they're sitting on how many billions of people there?
1.4 roughly.
The way you're saying the trajectory is, it can't last that much longer.
No, it can't. And ever since Xi came to power about 6 years ago, it's all about consolidation. They knew that this day was always going to happen, and here we are.
Wow. Unbelievable stuff. I didn't think it would take that long just to follow it. And Peter, thank you so much for the insight. I think that makes Americans feel a little bit better.
Americans aren't happy unless they've got something to worry about. And honestly, when it comes push to shove, I think they're going to be a little disappointed in how fast China crumbles.
All right. Well, we'll keep watching it. Thank you. Coming up, the Villains of the Week segment. Everyone